Good evening, Minister Chan. I'm Cheng Hao from Temasek Junior College. I just want to ask about your long-term vision for Singapore. Being cognizant of global uncertainty, be it politically, socially, or economically, where do you see Singapore in the next 20 to 30 years?
What's my long-term vision? Can I say this? My long-term vision in Singapore is not just the next 20 and 30 years. It's not just the next 20 and 30 years. I grew up in a system, in a part of the system where I understand that the last 50 over years of our existence has been an aberration in the history of Singapore and the history of this part of the world. If we go back a few hundred years, Singapore has never been independent, and some would argue Singapore has never been allowed to be independent. Never been independent because as a small city-state, without a natural conventional hinterland, it is very difficult to survive. Without those external links for resources, supplies, markets, talent, and so forth, it is very difficult. The last 50 over years, we have to eke out a living for ourselves. We have to defend ourselves, take care of our security. We have to earn our keep and not depend on other people's charity. We have to find value add so that we entrench ourselves in the global environment. Nobody has sympathy or charity for a small country. In the last 50 years, we have to navigate a domestic environment whereby we all came from different shores. That to have a country, regardless of race, language, religion, is not the norm. In fact, in many other countries, the national identity has to do with race, language, religion, ancestry, geography, and so forth. That's why I say just now, even until today, we don't have the geographical, cultural, linguistic buffers against many of the global forces impacting us. And amidst all this, having to take care of our security, take care of our own lives and economic survival, and take care of our own cohesion for the last 50 years, nothing has been very natural. Nothing. And I worked my whole life believing this, that if we are careless, if we are not careful, if we are not sensitive to the larger forces in the world, if we take what we have for granted, then very easily we can lose all this and have to start all over again. So I never take it as a given that we will arrive at SG 100 effortlessly. Never. When I went back to the SAF and talked to them, I asked them, how many of you think that we will celebrate SG 100 based on the current trajectory? Many of them put up their hands, and I'm very proud of them. But I reminded them, while you have the confidence, and I'm proud that you have the confidence, never forget why you are still in uniform. The very fact that you are still in uniform tells us that we have many other challenges that require you to be in the uniform. And it's not a job done. It's always a work in progress. Now at MTI, every day, my economic team has to go around to the rest of the world and convince people, local and foreign, to put their investment in Singapore so that we can have good and better jobs for our people, not just for today, but for the future. And we have to do that delicate balance. And you talk to any EDB officers, they grow up very fast. They grow up learning that nobody will owe us a living. that we have to give a value proposition to the rest of the world why they need to do business with us. When it comes to the social issues, we have succeeded on many fronts. But the challenges are ongoing. In the past, we were equally poor. Today, we are unequally rich. The challenges are no less. In the past, everybody feels that they have a chance to rise up to the top. And today, we pride ourselves still that amongst all the societies that we see, Singapore is probably the best place to be born, even if we don't come from a privileged background, because we have every reason to believe that we can succeed. But that is not to be taken for granted. Every country, as they mature, ossify. They form groups, and after a while, there will be groups that ask themselves, why should I continue to support this system if I cannot get ahead in this system? Those are our ongoing challenges. So what's my vision? I only have one simple vision for my entire life work, be it in the SAF, MSF, NTUC, or now MTI. I have one very simple aim. And that is for Singapore to defy the odds of history, to survive and thrive as a small city-state without a natural hinterland. To survive and thrive whereby we may not have a common ancestry, race, language, and religion, that we can define our identity based on a forward-looking set of values of multiculturalism, meritocracy, incorruptibility. That we will define a future where the future is in our hands and we are not beholden to others nor held ransom by others. That when others ask us to jump, we don't have to only ask how high, but we can ask why. Is it easy? No, I don't think so. Is it easy? No. My wife asked me, why do you continue to be where you are? Every day you are getting all the brickbats. Your family is getting the brickbats. Your children are getting the brickbats. Why are we still here? And I can tell you, we are still here. I am still here because I want my children and my grandchildren and for many more generations to come to be able to call themselves Singaporeans. That they have the means to be called Singaporeans and they have the gumption to be called Singaporean, the will. That today, we may just be Singaporeans, but one day, there will be a Singapore tribe. That's why for the bicentennial, I like it so much when Indrani proposed the tagline, from Singapore to Singaporeans. There's the double meaning to it. From Singapore, a geographical location, to Singaporean, a people. A people united by a set of values, although we may not be having a common ancestry, race, language, religion. But Singapore to Singaporeans is also about our stewardship to leave behind something better for the next generation. Just as the previous generation have left us with what we have today. That every generation of Singaporeans will not fear because they will start from a higher platform to scale a higher peak. That every generation will lend our shoulders to the next to stand taller and see further. And if we can continue to do that, I'm not worried about SG 100. I will say that even beyond SG 100, we will continue to shine. So what's my vision for Singapore? Defy the odds of history. Show the world how a small city-state without natural resources, without a common ancestry, can come together, value add to the world, contribute to the world, and bring forth people with a common set of values and vision, and not just looking at the past. That is our life's work. You ask Wicked, I think you'll be the same answer. That's what unites us in this endeavor to make sure that there will be a Singapore that all our children and future generations they can be proud of.